Spartan had been watching the whole exchange with a pair of Maggie binoculars that Enrai lent her.
エンライ、ペトリ様を救出できませんか？
不可能ではありませんが、騒動を起こせば戦争が始まってしまうやもしれませぬな。
というか、よく会話まで拾えたな。
何？独身術程度なら誰でもできるじゃろう。
カノンさんも落ち着いている場合じゃありません。急がないと。
ああ、それなら大丈夫だ。もう始まるからな。
The rumbling sound of moving rocks echoed throughout the whole battlefield. As the noise vanished, nearly 10,000 sentries were left staring at a single spot in the center of Yashima. A horror statue had suddenly appeared between the two armies like the earth itself gave birth to it. A few seconds earlier in the Poppin's den, Charles had been waiting for the perfect chance to activate the elevator and send the statue to the surface. Several gears creaked with loud metallic noises as the platform rose to the surface.
さてお披露目よ。30億の価値があるホルス像、それがいきなり現れたら。
The archaeologist guild watched the elevator rise with a malicious grin. Well? A few moments later, the horror statue appeared in the middle of the battlefield.
おい、あれなんだ？石像？だがどこかで見たような。
あれは間違いなくホルス像です。嘘じゃない。
Count Seijo gazed at the sculpture with his Maggie binoculars and jumped in surprise.
本当だ。手配書に書かれていたホルス像そのものだ。
国王様が30億の懸賞金をかけている石像がなんで突然に。
The members of Absumo's army were just as surprised by the sculpture's appearance.
もう一体のホルス像だと。そうか、ポピンズどもが隠していたのだな。
Theodore gazed at the statue in shock and swiftly rushed out of his trench.
あの像を持っていけば30億だぞ。一生遊んで暮らせる。
Several sentries started walking towards the sculpture while glancing at each other.
いかん、一般兵を下がらせろ。ホルス像に近づけるな。
ですが、欲に駆られた平民どもが素直に言うことを聞くかは。
従わぬならば矢を放て。あれはホルス像は私のものだ。直轄兵は私に続け。
はは。
二等兵から三等兵は左右に動いて道を開けろ。前に進んだ者は切り捨てろ。
Cedric rallied the sentries that composed his personal guard and rushed towards the statue. Meanwhile, the men from Cloudtown were also acting like a swarm of bees buzzing around the disturbed hive.
ホルス像を確保するのです。一般兵に下がるように命じろ。ホルス像に手を出す盗人は切れ。かしこまりました。
The two counts quickly forgot about Go and Petri and rushed towards the center of the battlefield.
ゴー様、今のうちに後ろに逃げましょう。
はい。最高峰まで下がれば私の連れてきた兵たちと合流します。あと僕のことは呼び捨てで。
はい。
And then later they fought. Petri grabbed Go's hand with a slight blush and ran from the battlefield with him.
スマッシュグランホルス像確保。なんて足元の悪い場所だ。
The counts and their sentries frantically pressed forward through the muddy terrain.
やりました。ホルス像が我が手に。ヤンクマ
Saijan shielded his blade and deflected the projectile flying at him.
うやん、 これはどういうことでしょう。共闘関係ではなかったですか、セドリック殿。
Saijo and Cedric glared at each other with the horse statue between them.
あくまで戦争ビジネスのパートナーだ。ホルス像に関しては取り決めていない。
Cedric passed his eyes over his notebook and answered with a confident grin.
要するに早い者勝ちということですね。
ホルス像を確保しろ。総員突撃。蹴散らせ。ホルス像は我らのものです。最上閣下に続け。
The battle that broke out had been caused by a very different reason from the one that Scarlet had warned.
死ね死ね。やった
ホルス像は俺たちのものだ。
The pirates may not have been experienced warriors, but your sharp weapons spilled real blood nonetheless.
血が止まらない。
誰か助けて、俺の腕が。
The sounds of raining arrows, swinging blades, and blowing men echoed through the whole marsh. The fearless valor managed to unlock some of the terrible stories he had heard about the barbaric era.
ホルス像か。高みの見物を決め込んでいた奴らを見事に前線に引きずり出したな。
ああ、シャラの計画通りだ。
Kana noticed that their friend's plan was unfolding precisely as she had expected.
なんて醜く恐ろしい光景でしょうか。
So, why are we dead?
フォー殿とペトリ殿は無事に後方に逃れることができたようですな。
そうですか。たとえ裏切られた相手でも戦場から弟が離れられたことを喜んでしまうのはいけないことでしょうか。
Let's acting out just because of his fear.
大丈夫、それが普通の感覚だ。
姉上は無事か。
Yes. Patriot ignored the battle happening nearby and scanned the horizon to look for her sister.
ペトリ様は無事です。御三家のゴーさんと共に後方に下がって難を逃れたそうです。
そうか、よかった。
And then they banged.
これは戦争の死亡者たちだけを争わせ共倒れを狙う策ですかね。
戦争したいというのならさせてやる。ただし本人たちでというわけか。
そうだったかな。
戦争賛成派の貴族が数を減らしてくれれば楽になるのですが。
シャラお姉ちゃんの発想ってそんなに甘くないからね。
Is she gonna pull them down?
そろそろいいでしょうか。
Draghi approached Patriot and looked at her with a torn expression.
実はアレクさんのことで悲しいお知らせがあるんです。
Is she gonna shoot stuff out of rage?
何？アレクに何かあったのか？
実はアレクお兄ちゃんなんだけど。
どうした？怪我か？病気か？
殺されちゃった。何を言っているのですか。まさかアレク様が死ぬだなんて。
Meanwhile, Kano had been reporting the same news to Spartan.
これが証拠だ。
The racer produced a foot of her husband's leg and a pool of its own blood.
残念ながら事実だ。だからアレクの姿がここにないのだ。無事ならスパルタンを心配して駆けつけているはずだ。
殺されたと言いましたね。モンスターに不覚を取ったのですか。
相手は人間だ。
それは誰ですか？
パトリオット公爵だ。
Why?
バルチャもといスパルタン公爵にアレクさんは殴り殺されてしまいました。
Why?
なぜだ？なぜスパルタンがアレクを殺す？
横連母されちゃったみたい。
Spartan showed Patriot a photo of Alex and Spartan huddling to each other.
これは顔をひっつけすぎじゃないか。ほっぺスリスリなんて私でさえやってもらったことがないのに。
あのスパルタン公爵がここまで心を許しているとは。
What are you guys plotting?
スパルタンのこの顔を見ろ。完全に欲情したビッチの顔じゃないか。
これが堅物のパトリオットだなんて、だらしのないメスの顔をしていますわ。
Hannah also showed Spartan to copy a Patriot's picture.
しかしアレクはスパルタンとの愛を選び誘いを拒否し、逆上したパトリオットに撲殺されてしまったんだ。
ああ、アレク様おいたわし
い。ひどい。なんてむごい殺され方だ。とてつもない憎悪を感じる。
やったのはシャロお姉ちゃんだけどね。内緒ですよ。
そうか、あの女の少年が腐り果てていたのは演技ではなかったのだな。
パトリオット殿下。
An incredible energy fueled by pure anger emanated from Patriot's body, causing everyone to step back in fear.
公爵会議でもスパルタンの悪口は迫真の演技だと思っていたが、おそらくは本心から出た言葉だったに違いない。
アレクさん、死の間際にパトリオットさんのことをとても心配していました。
あのネクラ女め、私を殺せばよかったんだ。無論返り討ちにしてやったがな。
かなり怖い雰囲気だね。完全に頭に血が上っていますね。プラチナちゃん、そろそろいいかも。あれあれ、あそこにスパルタン公爵の姿が見えるけど、すごい偶然だね。
どこだ
Patriot had noticed the presence of her new arch-enemy and turned towards the northern region of Yashima.
あの脳筋、知恵がないとは思っていましたが、そこまで短慮だったとは。
アレクが残した最後の言葉はスパルタンと幸せに暮らしたいだったぞ。
アレク様、アレク様、私も後を追います。
お嬢様、早まるでない。
ですが、すべてはアレク様を死に追いやった不届き者を。
ノーサリー、なんというまがまがしい気配。死神でも現れたかと思ったぞ。
Kana made sure that Spartan had been overwhelmed by rage and suddenly pointed southwards.
パトリオットならあそこにいるぞ。
The Duchess of Clark sensed an intense magical power gathering in the distance. She turned her gaze towards its source and realized it belonged to the girl she swore revenge against.
殺してやりたい。そんな感情を抱いたのは生まれて初めてです。ゴーや御三家に裏切られた時にも思わなかったのに。
Oh Lord.
これはまずいの。
Even Enrai, as powerful and experienced as he was trying his best to keep his legs from shaking.
よくもアレク様を殺しましたわね。くたばりなさい、脳筋女。地獄の神。
死んであの世でアレクに に詫びろ、引きこもりのネクロ女。虹色破壊光線。
The two duchesses released their best destruction skills as full power towards each other. Is this gonna go straight into where the nobles are?
なんだあれは。
Oh, I think it is.
流星か？
Yes! Make a wish! The recruits who did not go after the horse statue raised their heads with surprise. The mass destruction skills flew through the air and flashed over the center of Yashima. The rays exploded into a myriad of violent blasts and obliterated anything in their vicinity.
相打ち。
まだまだこんなものではないぞ。私のアレクを返せ。死ね死ねバカ女。
The guilds used their skills again and again, blaming each other.
これは戦略級スキルの応酬か。
この世の終わりだ。
Hey, the rays clash against each other once more and rain countless explosions on the marshland below.
パトリオット様、ご無事ですか？
大丈夫です。私たちが守ります。飛んでくる破片に当たらないように気をつけて。
Yuraki and Platinum made sure that none of the rocks propelled by the explosions could hit Patriot. That could hit. Grab her! Stop Big Normal! Start Big Normal!
もうこれはたまらん。生きた心地がせんぞ。
エンライ殿、飛んでくる岩を打ち払うのを手伝ってくれ。
The chaos created by the secondary blasts felt like a whole cataclysm on its own.
これはアレク様の分。これもアレク様の分。そしてこれはアレク様の分よ。
喜んでいる性格なんだろうな。
Cannot heave the long sigh and continue to protect Spartan from the debris flying at her.
お前の罪を教えてやろう。アレクに出会った罪、アレクに触れた罪、アレクに化粧した罪、アレクと同じ世界に生まれてきた罪だ。
Wow.
感情が乗って遠く離れているのに罵り合いが聞こえてくるみたいだよ。
こんなにスキルを放ってパトリオット様の体は大丈夫なのか？
しばらく動けなくなる程度だそうですから安心してください。
The Count looked at the girls protecting his duchess with a bored expression. I hope nobles are getting hit by all of this.
このブス、仕込め、骨太女。お前の母ちゃん、顎しゃくれ。
Damn!
そろそろ限界が近づいてきたかな。
The time between the casting of each salvo became longer and longer as the duchesses started breathing heavily. Meanwhile, the men fighting over the statue took the brunt of the cataclysmic confrontation.
なんだこれ。まさか戦略級スキル。パトリオットが参戦したのか。だがもう一方からもスキルが打ち込まれている。
God damn it, you're not getting hurt!
スパルタンが生きていた。止めさせるのです。偶然機がここにいるのですよ。
無理です。伝令が聞こえなくて。
The officer was instantly obliterated by a straggling ray from Patriot's rainbow destruction beam. Wow! Okay, they're slowly getting hit. Before the terrifying power of the two duchesses, the authority of the nobles meant nothing to their men. Bodies flew, blood rained, chunks of flesh scattered around the statue. It was a calamity that no human, no matter how powerful and revered, could hope to escape.
これが戦争なんだよこれ。人がまるでゴミみたいに死んでいく。
The recruits didn't rush towards the statue, shivered in terror at the scene unfolding in front of them.
やだ、あんな風に死にたくない。
Stepping around and stopped landed at the helmet of the terrified recruit. Oh, maybe you're not gonna be killed at all. But okay, I get it. I think I get it. The man wiped his visor and noticed that it was a chunk of flesh with a lifeless eye dangling from it.
もう限界だ。
助けてくれ。ほら、帰って家族に会うんだ。
After one of the recruits started running away, the rest quickly broke formation and looted. None of the men thought about rushing to the center of the battlefield to save their leaders. Charles listened to the mix of explosion and screams and closed her eyes. You sure this is going to be okay?
ええ。戦争の根を完全に断ち切るには、戦争の悲惨さを見せるのが一番よ。
You could have asked Patriot or Spartan to use the skills in an inhabited area.
使わない戦略級スキルに抑止力なんてない。一番の抑止力は実際に戦争で起こる悲劇を目の当たりにさせること。敵討ち、祖国のため、正義のため。そんな甘い言葉で夢を見ている奴の目を覚まさせるには、現実を突きつける。
But
一般兵はほとんど死なないわ。死ぬのはホルス像に目がくらんだ戦争で儲けることを考えていたクズどもね。
that's not what I was trying to say. I mean, your father must be with him, right?
あんなのは父親と呼べない。うちの親は母さんが死んだ時に一緒に死んじゃったのよ。それとさっきは殴ってごめんね。
That was real blood. Hey, no worries. I already healed myself. And I know it was to make the pick more realistic. Alex stepped towards his wife and hugged her tightly from behind. He got decked in the schnoz.
バカな。なんだこれは。私は公爵だぞ。なぜこんな目に遭わなければいけないのだ。
Cedric stared at the myriad of rays that were about to rain on his position. Noguchi and Saisho had already been obliterated into nothingness!
どうすればいい。こんな時の対処は。
Cedric hastily skimmed through his notebook but found nothing that could help him.
くそ。あと少しで私の悲願が叶うというのに。
After reaching his journal's first page, he stopped at the earliest memo he had written on it. The great world where my beloved Anne and I can live in peace. The yellowish and time-worn paper contained only those few words.
そうか。案を失った私はとうの昔に。
In the end, Cedric lost his life in the battles he so fervently wished for. At the end of the day, he could not live without his son. Question mark. I guess.
どうやら精魂尽き果てたようだな。
ふにゃヤシマが沈むかと思ってハラハラしたけど終わったみたいだね。
Yeah.
これだけ連続で使えるなんて
すごいスキルを持っている人は何かが違うんですね。
The apocalyptic fight ended within minutes once both sides had run out of energy. However, no one was genuinely rejoicing from the results of the battle. The war that had assembled 10,000 sentries was finally over, with a few hundred dead. Fortunately or not, the conflict left an unamendable scar in those who had witnessed it. Let that be a lesson. Then, Alex took his head out of the popping stand and gazed at the gruesome view opening in front of him. Alex, when you asked me if we really had to go this far to stop the war, well, you said it was necessary, so I am convinced it was. Wow, this absolute trust you have in me is a little scary. Huh? Wait, does that mean there was a better way? Ah, sheesh, that's not what I meant. Look, forget about it. Charles heaved a long sigh and then grasped her husband's hand. I'm convinced that there are some things we humans cannot realize until we see them with our own eyes. The people who joined this war thought that you somehow survived the slaughter and returned home triumphant. But once you witness the horrors of war, it's easy to understand that things never go so smoothly. I had to show them this side to crush all their delusions. Most of them will never forget the terror they felt on this day. Yeah, most of us couldn't even begin to comprehend how scary the barbaric era must have been. It happened so many centuries ago that it feels like a fairy tale at this point. Well, that's to be expected. A simple tale can't convey all the intensity of the experiences lived by the people who participated in it. Lucky for us that we had a talented archaeologist who knows all the horrors of the barbaric era. So, yeah, I get it. This must have been the only way to remind everyone of the horrors of war. Ah, crap. Now that I think about it, we should have recorded the battle on a rarer stone. Hey, that's a bit overkill. I do never want to show our children something like this. Alex! Charles! Ah, looks like Yuriki and the others are back. The rest of the girls reunited with Alex and Charles to gaze at the battlefield with them. Patriot is exhausted, but she seems to be well. She faded right away after we told her you're still alive. Same with Spartan. You've got a lot of explaining to do once you wake up. Yeah, I do feel bad for lying to them. It must have been exhausting both mentally and physically. By the way, Master Enrai said that he could immediately tell it was all a lie. Apparently, he decided not to say anything to see what we were planning on doing. Maybe there was no need to punch Alex that hard after all. Anyway, Patriot and Spartan didn't want this war, but they ended up killing lots of their own subjects. Make sure to properly comfort them once you wake up, okay? Of course, no worries. I guess it was impossible to save everyone at this point, but I'm sure they're going to understand that. As Duchess says, they probably were ready for this. Do you think that the war is finally over? Well, most of the members of the Clarkian and Asimovian pro-war factions have died. But as long as Ishtab is around, I'm sure that there will always be people who end up like my father. And Paulus must still be alive. What an annoying guy. It feels like I'm dealing with a chronic disease that just keeps coming back. Paulus is probably thinking the same about us. Latna scanned the horizon with a pair of Maggie binoculars and suddenly raised her voice. That Paulus guy. He's right there! Really? Alex grabbed the binoculars and looked in the same direction. Paulus was indeed overlooking the battlefield from a small elevation near Clark's border. He's looking this way. I think he knows we're here. We better deal with him now that we have the chance, and make sure this will never happen again. I bet he's thinking exactly the same thing. He's not moving. It's like he's telling us to hurry up and go there. Fine by me. Let's settle our score with him once and for all. Yeah, let's go everyone. Miles is waiting in the northern part of Yashima, near the border with Clark. What now? Patriot, go out there too! And he's just noticed them. We better hurry! This war has had too many victims already. Alex, we gotta rush to that elevation north of here. Got it. Alex and his wives rushed to the northern region of Yashima to settle their score with Palos. No. We're gonna go there the next episode. Explore a little bit. Kick his ass. Whatever comes up next, really. So thank you for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And I'll see you in another one real soon.